Hello and welcome to Rathods IS Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 26 August 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. So here in today's class, we are going to see around 8 articles which are relevant from our examination point of view. Actually, there are many articles which appear in our today's Hindu newspaper which already discussed in our yesterday's class. So I want to be consistent. So if you're watching our analysis, so please do watch daily so that I will be covering most of the articles. Okay, now let us see the front page. In the front page of Hindu, I found there are 2 articles which are relevant from our examination point of view. So here title says CBI completes polygraph test in Kolkata rape murder. So what is the keyword here? Keyword here is polygraph test. So here what is the keyword? Keyword is polygraph test. So from which subject you will be seeing this article or seeing this topic? It is from your GS paper 3 Science and Technology. So actually what is this polygraph test? So if you are watching a number of movies, so whenever they are investigating any crime, so they will be going with this polygraph test. In this test here they will be identifying whether that person is telling lies or truth. But how? So what is the technique involved? So actually you can observe your heartbeat itself. So whenever you are saying truth, heartbeat will be normal. Whenever you are saying false, then your heartbeat will be raised. So based on the physiographic function of your body, we can tell that person is saying truth or lies. So you can get a prelims based question regarding this polygraph test, and as an UPSC aspirant, you need to know about this. Okay, now let us see what this article is saying exactly. So everyone knows about this R.G. Kar incident. So in this incident, there were many suspected people. So in that suspected people, recently CBI, that is Central Bureau of Investigation, completed this polygraph test on several people who are in connection with this rape and murder incident. Okay, now let us see the details of this polygraph test. It is also called as lie detector test. If you are getting question regarding lie detector test, you should not be confused. So it is other name of this polygraph test itself. So this is a procedure. In this procedure, we are mainly measuring and we are recording several physiological indicators. So which are those indicators? So you are checking BP, that is blood pressure, and we are checking your pulse rate. Pulse rate is nothing but how many times your heart will beats, and next one is your respiration, and next one is skin conductivity. Okay, so whenever series of questions are asked by so and so person to that so and so a person on whom we are doing that test, we will be recording all these things, and if there is any abnormality, we will be deciding that that person is saying false. Okay, so here what is accuracy of this test means? Polygraph and narco test, they are not scientifically proven to be 100%. But even though here we are doing it because we are going to understand that whether that person is saying truth or false, at least we can understand by this physiological changes in the body. Okay, so this is about this topic. And see this article, second article. Laws to curb crimes against women made stricter, says Modi in Maharashtra. So what this article is talking about? It is talking about what? Tell me. Yes, crimes against women. So from which subject we can deal with this topic? GS paper to under polity. Because of these crimes against women, they will be undermining fundamental rights, which are part of, which comes under part 3 of our Indian Constitution. Apart from this polity, from GS paper to governance, where we will be seeing what are the policies, what are the laws which are present, which are protecting women against crimes in India. And next one is, you have to see from economy point of view. So because of this crimes against women, so what is the loss we are facing in our economy? So from that point also you can see, and even you can see from science and technology from GS paper 3 point of view. You have to see how we can use technology for decreasing of crimes against women in India. Okay, so all these are the subjects that we can connect. So now what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see examples of crimes against women in India, whether it may be domestic violence or whether it may be sexual abuse or physical abuse, whatever it may be, you have to see the examples. And you have to collect recent past. In recent past, what are the crimes against women? And you have to see what are the reasons for these crimes against women, and you have to see what are the laws came up by the government regarding controlling of this crime in India, and you have to see what is the way forward. So all these dimensions you have to see from this article point of view, and even this article you can connect with GS paper 1 and 2 from society and social issues point of view as well. Okay, let us see this article. If you see the title, it is saying that about what are the steps taken by our government of India, especially in which state here? Maharashtra. And if you are from Maharashtra, you have to know about what are the developments that happened in Maharashtra. But even if you are not the resident of Maharashtra, also you need to know these steps, because while you are answering any question in your ethics, or while you are writing any answer regarding gender inequality and women empowerment, you have to write these steps as a way forward. These steps can be taken. These steps can be implemented so that we can ensure free society for women. So what is this article saying? That Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that we are implementing stricter laws to combat crimes against women, especially in a rally in Maharashtra. So he also emphasized that government is committed to eradicate mentality behind such atrocities. So why atrocities happening in our country? So many a times these atrocities will be happen against women. So why? And even he said about what are the reforms came up by the government to ensure safety of women in the society. So one such an example here is EFIRs. So what is EFIRs? Electronic FIRs. That means whenever any abuse which had happened, if women, they are not coming forward to go to police station or to file any case here, so she can sit in home and by using her laptop or computer, she can file EFIRs. So that what happened, it is one important step for improving of filing of cases or reporting of atrocities. And this one here is, we came up with these EFIRs to ensure shift justice. And even our Prime Minister, he focused that we are making progress towards women empowerment over a past decade. And even our government is saying that we are increasing funds for the self-help groups. So why we need to focus on the funds for the self-help groups? We can make women economically empowered. Okay. So if you see the details, so these are the main points that you have to grasp from this article, and you can directly write these points in your mains answer. So first one here is, our Prime Minister is saying that yes, government is committed and government is taking very strong stance against gender-based violence. That means we can understand that government is shifting towards more accountability, and second one is stricter punitive measures. That means stricter punishments if there is any case of sexual abuse. And even government want to reshape the societal attitudes towards women's safety. So these are the solid words that you have to represent in your answer. So first one is gender-based violence, stricter punitive measures. Next one is reshaping of societal attitudes towards women's safety. So these are the points that you have to represent even in your case study as well. And this one is, we came up with this EFIR implementation. So through this EFIR, so the process will be getting simplified. So there is no need of women to go to police station. So that what happened, so the digital approach we are using so that we can reduce stigma in our society. Okay. And this one is, what is the root cause for this gender-based violence? Because of lack of education and because of lack of awareness. So now government is focusing on this root causes of this gender inequality through improving of education and as well as what? To increase awareness. And this one here is, government is also focusing on financial empowerment. So one of the important reason for this gender-based violence is women. There is one myth that women will be always dependent on men financially for everything. So for that, here government want to make women financially independent. So government is empowering women economically through this self-help groups. So through this self-help groups, what will happen? There will be economic independence, and even there is financial security for women, so that it will leads to women empowerment, and even it will leads to reduced violence in the society. And this one is even government want to come up with some legal reforms. Especially they want to come up with increasing of death penalties for this cases of rape and as well as murder. And next one here is there is also impact on society. So whenever these crimes are happening, okay, against women, so what will be the impact? What will happen in society? What will be the impact? So women, will they come forward to contribute to economy? Women, will they come to have higher education? No, right? So because of this, it is a responsibility of government to ensure safety of women wherever women is there, right? So for that also government is taking some collective actions. So whenever government is taking collective actions, it is not only responsibility of central government. It is not only responsibility of state government. Even local government need to be involved, so that at the grassroots level we can provide safety for women. And next one here is, if you see especially how this Maharashtra is focusing on the development role is, government is focusing on economic stability of women, and even government is focusing on ensuring of women rights. Okay, so they came up with a component of women rights. They are made in this part of state growth itself, so that there are less number of cases that had been recorded from Maharashtra. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. And see this article, disaster management completed, right? Okay, Kerala government to hold post disaster needs assessment in Wayanad. So what is the keyword? Only post disaster. So you have to remember this, post disaster needs assessment. So this is the keyword. So what is this post disaster needs assessment? Tell me, you have done with disaster management. What is this post disaster need assessment? So what is the difference between disaster and hazard? Disaster and hazard. Whenever there is loss of life, loss of property, loss of economy, that we will be considering as disaster. If there is no loss of life or property, we are not calling it as a disaster. It is a natural hazard. So here the word you have to focus here is post disaster need assessment. Okay, so from which subject you will be discussing this? Obviously, GS paper 3, disaster. Apart from this disaster, yeah, from GS paper 1 you have to see geography, and from GS paper 3, environment and ecology. Apart from that, okay, society, GS paper 1 and 2, society and social issues. Next, economy, very good. GS paper 3, economy. Next, from GS paper 2, we will be studying this article from polity, because in polity you have to know center-state relations. So in center-state relations, you will be studying 3 arenas. First one is administrative relations between center and state, legislative relations, and financial relations. Actually, we can connect this with financial relations between center and state. Why? Because why the state will be going with this post-disaster need assessment? Because of this assessment report, they will understand what are the financial losses it had happened, and how much amount of the funds they required for the reconstruction and redevelopment. So for that, here state obviously need funds, right? So state will be getting funds from center. So because of this, we can connect this topic with financial relations between center and as well as state. That point of view have to see from polity. And from economy, so you have to see the funds of state and as well as funds of center. And from society and social issues, what will be the impact of disaster on society? And from environment and ecology, how the climate change is influencing this disaster. And from geography, you have to see which are the vulnerable areas in our country where this kind of disasters will be happening. You have to know the vulnerability map of India. And from disaster, you have to see this cycle: pre-disaster, during disaster, and next one is post disaster cycle, and even in every step what are the measures you have to take. So you have to know this disaster management cycle from this article point of view, and all these are the subjects which are interrelated with this single topic of post disaster need assessment. Okay, now let us see the article in detail. So this article is saying that Kerala government is all set to begin a post-disaster needs assessment in landslides affected areas. So recently landslide happened in which area of Kerala? In Wayanad. Okay, so in Wayanad district, now Kerala government is going for this post-disaster needs assessment. So what is the objective of assessing the damage, and here is they want to define the strategy for recovery. So for recovery, what is the strategy they have to come up, and even they will be focusing on reconstruction. And actually the important objective or aim of this study is to estimate the financial cost across the affected sector. So which sector had been affected? For example, agriculture, for example, industries, for example, services. So which sector had been affected and how much financial cost they need for reconstruction and development. And even this assessment, it is compulsory to get central fund which is given to the states for recovery and reconstruction of the affected region. Okay, clear? So you can get a prelims question like, so is this post disaster needs assessment is mandatory or voluntary? Okay, like that you can get the statement in your prelims. You should not confuse. It is mandatory. If any state wants to get the funds from center, they have to go for this post disaster needs assessment for sure. It is 100%. And what is this post disaster needs assessment? It is internationally accepted methodology, and in this methodology they will identify physical damages, economic loss, and even cost of meeting recovery. And the post disaster need assessment, it is a product of European Union, World Bank, and United Nations Development Group. It is very important point from your prelims. You have to make a note. And actually it is also focusing especially on analyzing the financial cost at macroeconomic level. Okay, so that we can connect the loss with GDP, how much percentage of GDP had been lost because of that disaster, and even what is the impact on balance of payment, and even what is the physical impact on the physical budget. So all these things will be calculated at macro level so that it will be helpful for getting proper amount of funds which is actually required for reconstruction development of that disaster affected area. Clear? Okay, so see this article. Reality of real life exploitation as a structural problem. So what is this real life? Real life means social media, reels. Okay, next. Yes, actually this article is talking about Malayalam film industry. So whenever you are writing an answer regarding women empowerment, women based injustice, gender based violence, you have to write even committees. So actually recently HEMA committee is in use. So you have to make a note of that HEMA committee recommendations for sure. So even whenever you are writing any case study, for example, if there is any case study which is describing about sexual abuse, and if you are a DM or if you are an IPS officer, so how you are going to decrease that kind of cases in your area. So if you are getting this kind of case study, you have to say like, yes, we have to implement HEMA committee recommendations. Okay, and even you can get a question in your prelims like, recently HEMA committee recommendations are in news. It is related to what? And they'll give you options A, B, C, D. So you have to choose the correct answer. So in this way also you can get questions from committees which are in news. Okay, you should be very much careful. So here this article is talking about what? HEMA committee. So from which subject you will be dealing with this? Film industry. From entertainment, only entertainment, even that will be contribute to Economy, because some Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies, for example, recently Kalki movie, how much crores we got? This thing you will be saying, I know. So here we can connect with this GS paper 3 economy. And not only that, if this kind of sexual abuse and casting couch which is there means it will be having impact on GS paper 1 and 2 society and social issues, and even it will be against fundamental right, because everyone has a fundamental right, that is right to life and personal liberty. So your right to privacy will be also get affected. So we can connect with this polity. And even you have to see, like, there is one act to prevent sexual abuse at workplace act. Okay, you have to write this act. And even we have Vishaka guidelines that comes under part of your GS paper 2 under governance. And next, which subjects? Tell me from GS 1 to GS 4. And even from GS paper 4 you can get ethics case study. Next, art and culture, theaters. Okay. Okay, theaters, cinemas, they're also there in your art and culture from GS paper 1. Next, yes, next, that comes under puppetry, not cinema and theater. Next, which subject? Okay, so what are the dimensions you have to see? Again, you have to see about cinema industry in India. At least some idea about cinema industry in India. And you have to know about what are the problems and challenges in our cinema industry. And you have to know about laws and policies of government which are protecting women or gender equality at this workplace. And next, you have to know about what are the measures you have to take. And from this article you have to know especially what are the highlights of this HEMA committee. And there is one word which is given here, that is casting couch. So you have to know what is that casting couch. Okay. So now let us see this article. So the findings in K HEMA committee report must pave the way for reforms in our film industry. So because of this HEMA committee report, we have to come up with some reforms in our film industry. So now government need to take effective role in getting some reforms in our film industry. So here this report which had been released, and this report said that there is sexual abuse and even gender discrimination and inhumane treatment of women in Malayalam film industry. It is not only in case of Malayalam film industry, in any film industry you go, so we will be having this kind of issues for sure, even in Telugu film industry also. So many a times, even if you watch the interviews of some famous artists, so they will be telling directly that yes, there is casting couches present in our Telugu film industry. Okay, now let us see what are the issues which had been highlighted in this report. So first one is, yes, there is sexual abuse. So if you want to get some work and if you want to get good artist post in so and so serials or any movie, so there will be sexual abuse for sure. They have to compromise. Okay, they have to compromise for getting some good roles in the so and so serial or so and so movie. And there is also casting couch. That means nothing but, so if you want to get good job opportunities in this film industry, yes, you have to give some sexual favor for that so and so person. So whenever any person who is cooperating sexually, that person is called as cooperating artist. And even you will be getting question on this cooperative artist is seen recently in news. What is the meaning of that cooperative artist also? And next one here is safety on film set. Actually, many film workers, they are frequently bringing their parents and as well as close related to the set, because they are having the fears of sexual demands and even harassment at this acting site. And this one is even there is some criminal influence which are using in this Malayalam film industry. For example, many male persons, they will be having influence of liquor, influence of drugs, and even they will be knocking the doors of hotels where the female artists are there. So because of this, what happened, they will feel lot of inconvenience, etc. So this problem is also they are having. And this one is even there is also fear of consequences. Like actually we know that even IPC is there, even we have sexual harassment at workplace act, even Vishak guidelines, everything is there which is focusing on gender equality. Even though here the artists, they are getting fear to file a case against them because of what will be the impact, what will be the future consequence. And this one is even they are facing cyber threats, especially online harassment, and even especially the people who are working in the cinemas, both male artists and as well as female artists, they will be having this threat from cyber security, public threats, and defamation. So what is the meaning of defamation? Defamation. What is the meaning of this defamation? Defamation case. Many times we saw in news. Old students. Defamation. Okay. See about this defamation and tell me. And this one is even female artists, they often refrain from drinking water. They will be not drinking more amount of water because they will be not having adequate toilet facilities as well. Okay, so this is also one important problem if they are going for outdoor locations. And this one is even there is inhuman working conditions, especially junior artists. They don't have even proper minimum wage requirements, and even in some cases they are treated worse than the slaves. So even they have to work sometimes for more than 19 hours in those sets, and even whatever the salary they are getting, even though it is very less, they will be not getting on time. So this is also some problem, and these are the highlights that you have to know. You can get directly a mains based question which is 10 marker from this HEMA committee recommendations. Okay, so tell me what are the measures we can take to ensure. Tell me what are the measures we can take. I said about the problems, now tell me the measures. Stricter implementation of laws, that will come next. Come on, why you're so dull today? No one is answering. Tell me what are the measures. Okay, so after once this class is done, so write down the measures can we take so that we can ensure women empowerment in this film industries. Okay, yeah, say this article, new age gateway devices, the latest health threat. So guess what is there in this article? It is talking about new age gateway devices. So how many of you have habit of smoking here? Smoking? No one will say no. You have that? You will say no. Okay. So if you are having a habit of smoking, so we are getting some new gateway devices. So have you seen this image anywhere? This kind of devices? Huh? I know you have that habit of smoking. That's why you're saying. Okay, tell me what is this device? It is called as vaping, vapor, youth vaping. So actually here the problem is now we are getting some new gateway devices like e-cigarettes. What are these e-cigarettes? Electronic cigarettes. So how they will use money? How they will use? I know. Which flavors? Which kind of flavors? Tell me the flavors. Chocolate flavor. Next. Okay. So actually now we are getting new gateway devices like e-cigarettes and vaping pens. So actually they are marketing. So here marketing means advertisement. So in advertisements they will showcase that they are healthy than compared to that of traditional cigarettes which you can get in the shops. Where you will get cigarettes, in which shop? Yeah, in pan shop you will be getting cigarettes. So how do you know? Okay, so in pan shops you will be getting cigarettes. So rather than the traditional cigarettes, so this e-cigarettes and vaping pens are somewhat healthier alternatives. But I'm not saying this, but in advertisements they will be showing that there are some healthier alternatives of smoking, and now it became a public health crisis because once children and as well as adolescents they started using this, they will be getting habituated. That means they will become addicted, right? So now this article is saying that these devices are creating a new pandemic of youth vaping, with millions of adolescents in India. They have been addicted to nicotine. So what is this nicotine? One of the active component in the cigarette, which will be if you are taking this nicotine, it will be directly having impact on your nervous system. Yes, in tobacco, we will be having the main component that is called as nicotine. And because of this nicotine, we will be getting this physical and as well as mental health consequences. So whenever once you become addicted to this smoking and tobacco and as well as this nicotine, either by using this traditional cigarettes or by using this other gadgets, you will be getting obviously impact. So what health impacts you will be having if you are having smoking? Huh? Lungs diseases next. Respiratory diseases, lung cancer. So what happens if you chew tobacco? Some people will be chewing tobacco. Yeah, mouth cancer, throat cancer, etc. So actually this smoking, using of tobacco, which will causes cancer. Okay, so the key points given in this article is, now because of this youth vaping, so they had been averted as a public health issues now. So now what happens is e-cigarette sales had been increased a lot, and many people they had been habituated, especially youth, they had been got habituated with this tobacco. So now government need to take some targeted interventions to protect youth from this new age devices. And this one here is actually the problem here is there is predatory marketing. So actually many manufacturers, they are using the marketing or advertisements that they are showcasing that these are alternatives to this traditional smoking and they are healthier. But how these will be healthier? So they will be also having this nicotine and they will be also having the impact on physical and as well as mental health of the children. So here there are some appealing flavors, as I said, chocolate flavor and everything. Okay, so they are promoting their devices by using flavors and as well as different images. So they are falsely equating this vaping with social acceptance, and even these manufacturers, they are increasing this addiction rates in India. So because of this, now the government need to take a stricter regulations on this tobacco marketing, especially which are aimed at minors. And this one is, what will be the impact of having this tobacco? It will be having impact on mental health, and even the education will be got spoiled, and even there are risks on their lungs and as well as respiratory impact. So what happens? So many students, they will be also getting cancer at a very low age, very less age. And what is this addiction mechanism? What is the meaning of addiction? What happens in addiction? So have you seen that movie? So which movies will be showing about addiction of drugs, addiction of smoking? Come on, I know, tell me. You should say no. I have to say, actually I'm not getting that movie name right now. So there are many movies which shows about the addiction. So addiction means nothing but they get habituated. If they are not taking that so and so cigarette or so and so drugs at that time, means their body will not be getting function. So at any time, at that time they will be coming forward to do even crimes. So the crime rate is increasing in our country because of drug addiction. Drug addiction is one of the important reason. Because of this, the crimes are being increased. So here, whenever there is addiction is improving, then we have to go for de-addiction. Again, it will be increased financial burden for government. So government need to go for establishment of rehabilitation center, de-addiction centers again, and even family plays a very important role, because family needs to persuade that person who had been addicted to go to de-addiction center and to come back to the normal life. So that is also one important challenge. And even what happens if any person who is taking drugs, whether this person will be commonly mingled with the society? No, there will be social isolation will be there. So there will be increased feeling of loneliness, and even that will be further, it will be having impact on the mental health of that so and so person. So here we need proper supportive peer environment to bring back that person to the normal life. And even it will be having long term health impact. Okay, so that is the thing you have to remember. And see this article, investing in persons with disabilities. So what is this article talking about? Yes, disabled person. Yeah, who have to invest here? Who have to invest? Government have to invest. So in how many ways government can invest? In how many ways government can, yeah? Okay, schemes, Arogyasri, pensions, taking data, next. Okay, separate schools, education, infrastructure. Okay. So investing in persons with disabilities is very important for ensuring dignity and inclusion in the society. So always when you're talking about society policy making, we will be dealing with inclusive society, inclusive governance. That means no one should be left, each and every one should be participating in this governance making process. Then we will be calling that society as an inclusive society. But is it happening whether we are taking this PWDs into our governance process? No. Wherever you see in health, they don't have proper healthcare access. In education, they do not have proper education access. And if you see in any government jobs, so there is very less representation. So why? What is the reason? What is the reason? Why there is very less PWDs participation in our governance system? So see the reasons after this class. Okay, so this article is saying that there is lack of infrastructure in schools, universities. So because of this PWDs, they are not having the proper access to education. So because of this, they are further vulnerable and they are further marginalized. So we are not going to achieve our dream of inclusive society. And next one here is even corporate responsibility. I said about corporate social responsibility, right? So whenever companies, they are getting profit, so for example, profit of net worth, that is 5 crore rupees, they have to spend 2% of profit on social welfare activities. So here there is nowhere CSR funds are given for this PWDs. So it is also one cause of concern in our economy. And actually companies, they have to adopt some diverse policies and they have to actively mingle with this PWDs and they have to hire them for the jobs, and even for their education, for their development also companies, they can invest. So this is second important thing that you have to see. And next one is even legislative gaps are there in our country. So we are having lots of laws, policies, schemes which are focusing on promoting and as well as protecting of the rights of these PWDs. But in practice, but it is only on paper, but there is no practicality is seen. So this is also one problem we are having. So we need to ensure proper compliance across different sectors. And this one is even we can take the examples of global best practices like how Brazil, how Japan, how they are guiding their PWDs, and what are the points that we can get from these countries and we can implement in our country. So this kind of case studies that you can directly use in your answers. And even you can see about social perceptions. So especially in our society, there is always negative perceptions regarding these PWDs, like there is discrimination, there is social stigma. So if anyone knows that they are having disability, so they will be not giving value for them because they are not, they will think that they will be not contributing to that family, they will be not contributing to our economy like that. So there is a lot of social discrimination that is there here. So government need to come up with the positive perception, positive affirmative actions for this PWDs, and government need to focus on inclusive culture, inclusive governance. Okay, and even government can invest in the education, employment of these PWDs so that we can ensure the dignity and we can ensure the proper potential and we can benefit the society as a whole. So all these points that you have to see from this article. Clear? And see this article. What did 2013 panel says on death penalty for rape? So whenever you are writing about sexual abuse, rape and death, so we have Justice Verma panel. Okay, so you have to write this. So this Justice Verma panel said that it was not inclined to recommend the death penalty for rape even for the rarest of rarer cases. So actually when we can give this death penalty in these criminal cases is if it is rarer of rarest, very rare cases, we can impose this death penalty. So you have to remember just what is this Justice Verma committee recommendations regarding this crime. Okay. So because of increasing of crime against women, you may get questions regarding this in your GS paper 2 and even in your ethics case study. So that is the thing you have to remember. And here you can see one more article. So warship INS Mumbai to make first visit to Sri Lanka. So what is INS? I'll break your heads if you don't say. INS. Indian naval ship. So you have to search about some facts regarding this INS Mumbai. So where it is, so who developed this and everything you have to see. That is very important from your prelims. So these are the important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching. And if you really like this class, hit the like button and please share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy.